the biggest difference is people do not trust us like they used to.
CBS News, the home of Walter Cronkite, the most trusted evening news brand in American history. And it gets handed to a billionaire's son who begged for Donald Trump's blessing to close a merger. They installed a former opinion columnist with zero television experience as their editor-in-chief, replaced the evening anchor with a guy that was called MAGA-coded by his own colleagues. And what did you expect to happen? And then it even got worse, because then you throw that MAGA-coded anchor to cover the most important geopolitical summit of the year. And you watch that anchor fail to get a visa. And then he had to broadcast from 1,000 or 2,000 miles away, and his cameraman passed out on air. And then the anchor gets thrown out of his own hotel because the manager was, quote, appalled by his coverage. Oh, and Stephen Colbert's farewell run, it's a giant slap in the face to your network. If you saw that, you'd say, wow, that sounds bad, because Walter Cronkite is spinning so fast in his grave, he's generating renewable energy. And it all happened in 1 week at CBS. You probably don't know the name Tony Dokoupil. He's the new face of CBS Evening News. And you don't know him because no one's watching CBS News anymore. And Tony was handpicked by the Trump family's media-friendly billionaire allies, the Ellison family, the family that controls Paramount Skydance. And he was personally placed in the anchor chair by editor-in-chief Bari Weiss, the former Substack opinion writer who has never, in her entire career, run a television news operation. And so you get to watch what happens when you put people who've never done broadcast news in charge of broadcast news. And Tony's debut earlier this year was a total disaster. In January, Tony introduced himself to America twice in 80 seconds, and then he said live on air, quote, "First day, big problems here," on the actual flagship CBS News broadcast on his actual first night. And Vanity Fair later reported that the script problems that he was having were because Bari Weiss personally rewrote portions of the teleprompter minutes before air. Bari Weiss personally rewriting the evening news teleprompter 5 minutes before broadcast. As a CBS executive told the Daily Beast, it feels like there was no adult in charge.
All right, to other news, as you just heard from Jill. Well, to other news now, to Governor Walz. No, we're going to do Mark Kelly. First day, big problems here. Are we going to Kelly here, or are we going to go to Jonah Kaplan? We're doing Mark Kelly.
So then you fast forward to this week. Donald Trump goes to China, highest stakes foreign trip of the year, talking trade, Iran, Taiwan, the whole show. NBC, they send Tom Yamas to Beijing. ABC, David Muir. And CBS sends Tony Dokoupil to Taipei because Tony couldn't get a visa. He couldn't get a visa to enter mainland China for a trip that was announced months in advance. As one CBS source told the New York Post, this is possibly the dumbest decision in the history of broadcast news. That's hilarious. And then, because the universe has a sense of humor, they put him in Taipei, the capital of Taiwan, which, by the way, Beijing claims as their own, while Trump is 2,000 miles away sitting across the table from Xi. But it still gets worse. On Wednesday, mid-broadcast, Dokoupil's cameraman literally collapses on set. There was a thud. The feed had to cut to B-roll. The cameraman is fine, thank God, but that moment was captured by every media reporter on X with a clip of the broadcast.
And finally tonight from Taiwan, as President Trump and China prepare to meet, you will hear a lot about American decline and the rise of a powerful new China. The Chinese certainly, is he okay?
And because there is no bottom, on Thursday, the hotel where Dokoupil was broadcasting kicked him out of his own room. The quote, the manager was appalled by Dokoupil's coverage of the China-Taiwan conflict. Dokoupil even mentioned it on the broadcast from the new location, saying, and even at our hotel, where after seeing our broadcast last night, the manager told us we can't cover anything political on their property, end quote.
And even at our hotel, where after seeing our broadcast last night, the manager told us we can't cover anything political on their property.
It's like the most embarrassing thing I have ever heard. Why would you go and tell that to the world on air? The guy had to relocate to Liberty Square in Taipei. He's broadcasting from the middle of a public park because the hotel kicked him out, while Trump, the MAGA editor's whole reason for getting the keys to CBS in the first place, is being outplayed by Xi in Beijing. And you got to remember, Bari Weiss took over CBS to make it more Trump-friendly. The Ellison family bought it because Donald Trump's blessing is the only way the merger got through. And the result has been a parade of self-inflicted humiliations. Pulling segments of Trump on 60 Minutes, ousting the international chief, replacing serious journalists with newsletter writers. You've got the Dokoupil broadcasts, and he's the centerpiece of this new CBS, regularly draws fewer than 4 million viewers. May 8th, a record low 3.4 million. Below NBC, below ABC, below cable, below YouTube channels run out of basements and maybe even those out of law firms. We're getting there. Oh, and by the way, Colbert, he's giving the figurative middle finger to the network that fired him, fired at Trump's personal request. And remember, he was cited as having poor ratings. That's why they were getting rid of him. He's leading all broadcast network late night shows, especially in the key demographics, so his ratings are through the roof. That is what happens when you sell your soul and newsroom and network to a billionaire, to Trump's buddy, and you let a Substack writer run it. That's what happens when you have to cuck for the president to get your merger. Do me a favor, leave me a comment to keep us active in the algorithm, because the more they collapse, the more work we have to do, and we're not getting kicked out of hotels anytime soon.